Probably,
because
yeah.
no, this is why, Hutch, because he doesn't really care about the infringement. He doesn't really care about the statements. He cares about going after these people. That's why you don't feel any fear. You don't feel any fear because you don't have a vendetta against Ethan. But if you did have a vendetta against Ethan, and let me tell you, people who don't have a good relationship or don't like H3 or don't have like a positive relationship with them, I'm sure they feel chilled. I'm sure, right? You would agree with that, right? That people who don't have like a positive relationship with Ethan, they're probably feeling chilled about reviewing his content, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Like, I would agree with Pisco on this. Yeah, I think they would feel chilled. Yeah. I think people who are against critical Ethan Klein, whatever, like, if you make your entire personality about it, then yeah, you would feel some type of chill, I would think. Yeah. But, yeah.
Well,
Wouldn't you?
let me first let me clarify. Like the reason why I don't feel chilled is because I know that I have never done what Frogan and Denim's.
I can only assume Ethan targeting smaller creators is so that he can make a quick W and not garner too much public investment and attention into React content. Maybe. I'm not sure. Pisco is the type of guy to never admit he's wrong on shit and just dance around it in a way you could agree. Yeah, Pisco is really stubborn, okay? I think that's another problem with Pisco. He never admits he's wrong. That's the problem too. He'll fight. He doesn't display good faith like in any one of his debates. He actively will defend a point to the death no matter how autistic he's going to go, you know? Yeah, I say Spoiler in comparison to Hassan X. Okay, then everybody else, I guess. Literally everybody else.
And they did. I've never said like, hey guys, watch it here so we can take a video or a view away from the creator. Like I never took it to that extent. That's why I didn't feel any fear. Not because I felt like not because he's maybe only going after them because of like personal grievance.
So when he planned the trap before they made those admissions, right? So he planned his quote unquote trap before he could have known that these people were giving admissions, right?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So how can we say that this whole thing was about this specific subset of infringement if he couldn't have known when he started this trap, right? He registered with the Copyright Office before.
He made an educated guess, Pisco. He made an educated guess. All right, he couldn't have known because no one predicts the future, but you can infer from the past how people would react in the future, right? Period. Right? It's an educated guess. That's what it is. It's a best guess. That's it.
For those.
What, you think Ethan Klein got out his fucking crystal ball and he was like rolling it around like a fucking marble, mate? And then he was like, you just going like, yeah, you know what? Oh! I'm stealing the shit! Don't go to Ethan Klein's. What, you think he knew about that?
Admissions were made
because they've been doing this. No, but this isn't the first time they've done this. They do this all the time with him specifically.
Okay, that looks weird.
They do what all the time?
They do the thing where they play it on their stream so you don't give him a view.
No, but where
they've openly done
where
this
he's made the
over and over
where
and
they've
over
made
again.
where they've made the admission before.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen where they made the admissions before. I've seen the admissions with respect to this content, but he couldn't have known.
I have
okay.
No, but they've done it before. That's why he was able to predict that they were going to do it because they have absolutely done this before.
So you actually do think that he was predicting that they were going to make these kinds of self-serving statements, and he planned from the start, Machiavellianly, that they would make these specific statements.
Machiavellianly? Did you guys notice that subtle, like, well poisoning? Did you guys notice that subtle well poisoning? Machiavellianly? Pisco, come on.
Statements.
Come on, Pisco.
Okay, but okay.
But they've done it before. That's why he was able to predict that they were going to do it because they have absolutely done this before.
So you actually do think that he was predicting that they were going to make these kinds of self-serving statements, and he planned from the start, Machiavellianly, that they would make.
He planned from the start. You could have just said he planned from the start. You don't have to add in Machiavelli because now you're like subtly inserting into people's brains. Okay, that Ethan Klein's a psychopath. Yeah. You're trying to poison the well.
these specific statements saying "watch it with me" so
Yikes.
that we steal money from him. He planned that they would
That's
say
what
that.
he claims after the fact. I honestly don't know if I even believe him that he set
I
up
don't
a
believe
trap,
it. I don't.
You know,
Oh, so you think that
Yeah.
he's probably lying about setting up a trap?
maybe. Yeah, for content for the memes. I don't.
Yeah. According to Pisco, the Jew really do be scheming. The Jews really do be Jewing. Okay.
I don't know if he actually set
Right.
a
Well,
trap. But I could be wrong.
So that's what I don't understand, right? Like, I'm much more willing to believe that he was actually registering his copyright, like with the specific intention to
Did
sue.
he do that before he posted the video, or
Yes.
did he do it after the fact?
Yes, he
Yeah.
registered the whatever the stream is after, but he registered his nuke beforehand. And the complaint
Okay,
actually
then I do
details-
believe him actually.
Yeah, that
Then I do believe
he
him,
was
yeah.
planning on suing, and he really couldn't have known that these people were going to issue these statements. And here's the question for you, right? So imagine
No, but you keep ignoring. But they've done it before. This is repeat behavior for them. This is not new for them. They're so malicious to Ethan, and they've been malicious for over a year now.
no, where they specifically were going to say
True.
that I want to siphon views and content from this specific video. You think
Yes,
that
especially
was in
especially
his
the
mind.
Snark. Especially the snark. The snark for sure will link like mirror links so that it doesn't give him a view. I know for a fact that the snark, the subreddit, they went out of their way to do this. And they have been for a long time.
I'm talking about the principal infringement here, because you need an underlying infringement for the contributory theory, if you can even have the contributory theory at all. But for the underlying situation,
The what theory?
if Denims had not said what she said about "watch it with me" and not with anyone else, do you think he would have sued her?
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not.
What's the most likely?
I really don't know.
Or if Casey Tron had not said what she said, yeah, watch it with me, or whatever she said, or Frogan, the same thing. Do you think they would have sued him? Do you think he would have sued them?
It's impossible to put myself in his head.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna take a stronger position. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. I don't think so. No. If that was the only thing, no. That's not enough. Right? I'm gonna take a stronger position here, okay? I mean, we couldn't go back into the past. We can't. We can't go back into the past and predict the future. Whatever. Hindsight's 2020, right? But I'm just gonna say no. All right.
Yeah. I really don't know, but I think probably not. Like if I'm treating him in good faith, then probably not. Like because if he would have think about that for a second.
Laughable.
Like game out that game plan though. Like if he were originally intending just to sue anybody.
Okay, I'm gonna need Pisco to debate Loner Box now. Okay, we need another debate. I love this content. This content is fun. Ethan literally said it's because he didn't have a strong enough case against Shonda Black. Oh yeah, sure. He's not suing Shonda Black. Wait, he is, isn't he? He is suing Sean. No, Corey.
Who reacted to the video?
I
then
think
that
he is,
would have
right?
necessarily included people like XQC and Aspen.
He just doesn't think
and
it'll
then
be
like
good.
I know I think he knows that would not have been publicly supported because it potentially would have transformed React content to the extent that maybe people didn't even do it
And
anymore.
why?
So
Why? So I think that, for example, imagine that
Why?
imagine that Hassan just did what Frogan did. You think he wouldn't have sued Hassan?
He was joking. Latest post shows he's not. He literally said he would if he had a strong enough case. He was fucking with them. Oh. Okay. Jesus Christ, man. That's crazy. That is kind of crazy.
Ask that question again.
What the
I didn't
fuck?
understand.
So imagine that Hassan did.
Okay. Listen, I was bashing Pisco for describing him as Machiavellian. Okay, that is definitely Machiavellian. Okay, suing somebody like threatening to sue somebody as a meme. Nice prank, bro. Just Jesus. Yeah, that was a little bit Machiavellian, actually.
Frogan did, but never said.
Holy shit!
I'm trying to steal money from Ethan. You think
What
he
the
would have?
fuck? Oh,
You think he would have
I'm just
sued
joking,
Hassan?
guys.
I think the answer is obviously he would have. He was planning this to sue, and he could not have relied on his targets in the specific instances making these kinds of admissions. He couldn't have relied on it. His plan was much greater than that, and the fact that he was saying "watch it," I think lends more to the notion that this was a trap and that he was being honest about it being a trap. What he's being dishonest about it, this was a Machiavellian strategy to actually help protect the community.
That was funny because everyone was calling him sexist. Nah, that was funny. No, I agree. I still would have done it, okay? But I'm pretty Machiavellian myself. Have a nice evening, guys. These payments are knocking me for a loop. Okay, good luck. Take care.
Community from Sony and Disney. That my intention, my motivation was to protect the reaction community when I set this trap, because it would require him knowing in advance or having planned that these people were going to make these damning admissions when there's no world.
You're dismissing, but you're dismissing the fact that they had already done this kind of stuff before. I can't speak to each individual creator, but I know for a fact that like the Snark subreddit, which is like very much kind of overlaps with all these communities, the Snark subreddit was absolutely regularly doing this exact thing. So maybe he originally was intending to target the Snark, which there's history.
But there would need to be
like
an underlying infringement. There would need to be an underlying infringement that he goes after. And if you're saying
I would call you base, except you're trying to be a DG adjacent streamer while using normal vid speed. Well, yeah, my brain processes at normal time. Okay, I'm sorry I don't have Omega Turbo autism. Okay, listen. Okay, you can always just watch this video yourself and play it at 2x speed. Okay, it's okay. You don't have to watch me. All right, you don't have to watch me. Okay. Guess what? No one's forcing you to watch me. Get out! Get the fuck out! Okay. Anyway.
What I'm saying is that they had done it over and over again. They do the mirror links with the message on the top of the post.
So do you think
on Reddit,
all else equal?
Don't give Ethan a view. Watch it here.
Gun to your head. Everything the same about Frogan's reaction. Everything the same about the Snark. But Frogan doesn't make those statements. But
if you complain about my video playback speed again, I'm sending in P Diddy. Okay, I'm sending in P Diddy.
Still have
don't test me.
Do you think that he would have sued Frogan?
No. I don't.
I think that that's crazy. I think that that's completely crazy to say.
Why would you think that is crazy? Because everybody
all a pretext.
Took it to that extent.
The notion that he's actually trying to enforce this standard on the community that is turning on an issue that's not relevant or not even one of the elements of the underlying infringement, and that it's all about this particular kind of infringement, is all a pretext. It's all obviously a sham. The notion that he's trying to protect infringement at all. Why would he try to protect infringement? Why would you protect infringement?
He's trying to protect fair use.
Sorry,
no. He is trying to protect infringement. No, he says, right, I could go after a lot of people, but I wouldn't want to chill them.
No, I think he is hoping that through this action, it causes people like XQC and Hassan and Asmongold to adopt better standards.
So why doesn't he DMCA XQC then?
Because again, I think you're ignoring the idea that like if he were to go after people like XQC and Asmon for the kind of react that that absolutely would have a chilling effect.
If he cared about enforcing good standards, why wouldn't he doesn't have to sue XQC? Why doesn't he just DMCA XQC?
Because I think he's specifically targeting this malicious behavior.
No, but
and by targeting the malicious behavior, I think he thinks he can incidentally incentivize better behavior
from XQC.
Yes.
Why? Yeah. Why would he? He said I will never sue XQC. So how is he trying? In what world is he trying to change XQC's behavior when he says I would never sue him?
You keep saying he would never sue XQC. He was saying he would never sue XQC for what XQC
which is doing, blatant infringement.
That would have a chilling effect. But there's a difference though.
Would you say that Ethan went after these guys particularly because of the protections that Twitch and their affiliation with Hassan afford them on top of the explicit statements they made? Yeah, I think so. I think that the Twitch's inactions contributed to it a lot. I think Hassan's inactions also contributed to a lot, like the failure to moderate his own community. I think that when Ethan Klein saw the content cop video with everyone in the background just like doing the L dance, I think he was like taking notes and taking pictures. Okay, like he's like a KGB agent. Okay, he's like he's putting one in for Master Putin. Okay, you know what I mean? You get me? Anyway.
Like if XQC took it to the extent that like Denims did, then I could see.
Wait.
XQC.
So XQC has a lot less transformative stuff than what Denims did.
Sure, why not?
But there wasn't that malicious.
Yeah, but that's not an element. That's not an element of the underlying infringement. But let's just be clear about something, right? He says that he would never sue XQC. So do you agree with me that he's not trying to change XQC's behavior by suing these people?
I don't agree with you. No, I don't agree with you.
Okay,
I think he is trying to change
If he's trying to change behavior, why doesn't he condemn what XQC did? Why doesn't he condemn what XQC
Well, he did in the video, but he said he wouldn't.
For record, I don't think Ethan Klein gives a fuck about XQC. Okay, I just want to make that part very clear at the very least. Okay, I don't think Ethan Klein gives a fuck about XQC here. Okay, yeah, I don't think he focuses on XQCs like changing of behavior or whatever gay ass like retard shit like that. Okay, yeah, this is not a good point for Hutch to be fighting on. Okay, for the record.
He would
but
sue
he
them
would sue
because
them.
it would chill people.
But not. But wouldn't that be like, if he was trying to change XQC's behavior, why would he say, "I would never sue him. I would. In fact, I want to promote what they do." He says the following. He says,
Your framing is just so incorrect here. He's not saying
could sue
literally he
them.
would never sue XQC.
The
He was saying
purpose-
he would never sue XQC for doing what XQC was doing. If XQC did what Denims did, then he probably would have sued XQC.
God. But he's trying to. I understand. I really don't want you to bring up the difference between XQC and Denims again, in the sense of one having the
But
more
it's so
malicious state
crucial
intention.
to
No,
this
it's
conversation,
not
though.
crucial to what I am saying. All right, I'm not talking. I acknowledge that he could say, "I go after the worst of the worst." What doesn't make sense is I'm trying to go after the worst of the worst to protect the bad. That is what doesn't make sense. He is saying,
He's not protecting the bad.
Yes,
though.
he is.
That's
He's
not
saying,
what he's doing.
I don't want to. This is what he says. I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear. Sorry. I'm going back. He says, I could use sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars. But the purpose of this, that is the lawsuit, is not financial gain. People like XQC and Asmongold may have watched the entire thing. They infringed, definitely infringed, right? But I would never sue them. Sue them for what? Infringement that they absolutely did, just for infringing, right? I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear, actually. Well, why would suing infringing content chill the reaction community of non-infringers into fear? He's trying to protect infringers, isn't he?
No, I don't agree with you at
No, Alex, you don't understand, okay? The louder Pisco is, the more correct he is, okay? Listen, you just have to be louder, all right? Hutch, you have to start screaming, so then he sounds correct, all right?
Wait,
all. I think this framing is, I'm not going to call you dishonest. I just think you have the wrong framing here. Like, first of all, do we even agree that if he were to sue Asmon and XQC for what they did, which is not malicious in the sense that they said that they wanted to steal views, but it was just, I can't speak to Asmon, for XQC, like there was basically no effort whatsoever to be transformative. And this is kind of like a regular thing. Like, do you agree that suing them for that would actually chill the React community?
It would chill infringement. It would chill bad infringement. It would do what Ethan has said he stood up for this whole time and was arguing against, that he called an injustice. He started the video by saying that kind of thing, that specific thing that you just referenced, what XQC did. He called that theft and an injustice. So yeah, I think it would chill injustice, which is what he says he wants to. That's why he was arguing with XQC that entire time. In that.
When you say chilled, what we mean is people might be less inclined to do any kind of React content, even if their work was way more transformative than XQC's, for fear of like, well, I don't know the implications of where this is going, and I just don't want to expose myself to any kind of legal
you don't think
liability.
that, okay, so if that's what he's trying to say, you don't think that that's true of his current lawsuit, that people won't overcorrect based on the current lawsuit?
Not.
I don't understand what the fuck Pisco is saying. Still, Pisco has an issue with the way that H3 is presenting in public. That is what Pisco has an issue with. Solely and only that. Pisco has an issue with Ethan Klein's public narrative, which is fine, but then it seems like he has a disproportional focus on that, okay? Not on anything else, right? It seems as though Pisco is trying to look for one minor thing to fixate on that is an issue in regards to Ethan Klein, instead of focusing on the fact that Hassan is a little stinking bitch and is bad for the leftist movement, for the progressive liberal movement, okay? Which, by the way, all right, Pisco is not supposedly a leftist, although I'm not sure about that one anymore. And he is supposed to be a liberal, so I don't know why he's defending his son, okay?
Nearly to the extent that I think they would if
How
he
So either way,
were
doesn't make sense.
XQC type.
The only reason why people aren't
Because he laid out like really specific elements for what he thinks is like malicious.
first of all,
So for the record, it's fine to have Pisco's position, okay? However, I don't think it's fine to only focus on this. Anyway.
who the fuck is he? Who the fuck is he to impose that standard of infringement on the broader community? So are you telling me that he would criticize someone who sued? So let's say someone's in a similar position and someone, this is the question, right, Hutch? So imagine that XQC does that reaction of another content creator and someone sued XQC for doing that reaction, not malicious reaction, but like full on what he did, right? Would he condemn that person for suing XQC for infringement?
I have no idea.
But the thing is, if to be consistent, right, he would have to say,
Oh, Pisco's pissing.
he would
Is he?
condemn it. Why
He's
would he
not-
condemn
he's
it?
not pissing.
Because suing XQC
It's
for
over.
doing what XQC does would chill the reaction community, right? So if someone else sued XQC, in order to be consistent on his rationale, he'd have to say, why are you suing XQC? Don't you know that suing XQC will improperly chill the reaction community? That's
I mean, I
what,
think
to be
it's
consistent.
conceivable.
Oh,
I think it's conceivable that he would have that position. Like
So-
if he were to talk about it on his podcast, for example, I think it's conceivable that he would be like, yeah, this could potentially really scare a lot of people from doing any React content.
so you think it's conceivable that after Ethan spent so much time in the past critiquing XQC, saying he's courting disaster, saying what he's doing is an injustice,
Jesus, Pisco.
saying that what he's doing is theft, that when
Chill.
someone tries to
Chill,
remedy
chill,
the
chill,
injustice, you think it's conceivable that past Ethan would say, this is wrong. I disagree with the lawsuit against
Jesus,
XQC, which is
Pisco.
obviously injustice, which is obviously
you
theft,
okay?
because even though you're suing to prevent an
He's
injustice,
kind of low-key crashing
it
out.
will
isn't he?
improperly impermissibly chill the rest of the fair use reaction community.
just
That he would
getting
actually
started.
condemn a lawsuit if someone, ratifying their rights, and preventing the theft of XQC, that he would actually condemn them as being corrosive to the reaction community. You think he would possibly do that?
Dude, this is like kind of like seeing somebody die, like end a relationship, like end a friendship with somebody over like pineapples on pizza. Like this is kind of what it seems like. It's like it's like, oh, you have no idea how much I hate pineapples on pizza. Fuck you. I'm gonna debate exactly why the taste fucking sucks. All right.
I do think it's
What a
conceivable
weird thing to
because
die on.
even if you're going after something
any
that you
friend,
perceive to be an
right?
injustice, you could also make an internal calculation that by going after that thing, you could do more harm than good. Like that's not. This is not really a difficult thing to reconcile.
I'm not saying that it's
Fishing it,
logically
yeah.
impossible to hold those beliefs. I guess that you could say that what's going on is bad, but remedying it is worse. I think it's preposterous to think that. So, for example, let's say that XQC did what he did, and some rights holders. Let's say that he watched the full episode of The Bulwark or something, or one of these political shows, and then The Bulwark sues XQC. Do you think that he would but all XQC did was literally look at the stream and be like, wow, that's crazy, man. Wow, that's crazy, man. And The Bulwark sues XQC. Do you think he would say, why is The Bulwark doing this? What the fuck? They're going to chill the reaction community.
Well, I don't know about that specific language, but it's entirely conceivable to me that he would like, let's say he's talking about it on his podcast like the next day.
So Pico doesn't really care about the legal argument, just whether or not Ethan is being an inconsistent asshole. Yes. Yes. Yep. That's it.
Or whatever. I think it's entirely conceivable that he could say something to the effect
Nothing
of, like,
to do with the
I think
legal.
what XQC is doing.
I mean, to be fair, he has said that he has an issue with how how do I say it? He has an issue with the fact that it may not be good for him, for people like him, right? Or whatever, or how the lawsuit itself has issues, right? Whatever, okay? But still,
doing is wrong, but by
No
going after
action
him in
should
this
be,
way,
but
it
no
could-
action should be taken against him, is what you're saying. That they would say that.
No, I think like you can try to devise an outcome through other means besides like directly confronting the thing that you're trying to challenge. And so you could engineer an outcome where people adopt better standards for React content by doing a more targeted approach.
Okay.
Let me ask a
Yeah.
different question then. Like, do you have examples of Ethan being disingenuous about things, that like you think it's like a part of his character, like yeah, like what I mean, if you're going to accuse someone of being disingenuous, there should be some sort of like something
so
that you
before-
can point to say, like
Yes,
in the
yes.
past, like they did this one
So
thing.
I
True,
vaguely
true.
recall he was a little bit disingenuous about the Washington Post article at one point in his career. I recall.
Oh my god. Really? A Washington Post article at one point in his career, as compared to what? Hassan and his orbit, which has lied about literally fucking everything? What? What the fuck is he saying?
There were some aspects of what he said to Hassan in their debate
What?
that I thought were disingenuous. I don't recall them.
No, Pisco, please. Pisco, please, 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 please. What? You please don't defend Hassan in that debate, please. You have no idea how the fuck how much he lost. You, dude. Pisco, Pisco, please. I don't want to lose you too. Pisco. Oh god, I can't see. I'm blind. Oh.
Precisely, but I'm not saying that he has a character for disingenuousness. I'm saying he is being disingenuous in this specific thing, and I need not support a broader statement on his character to support this specific act of disingenuousness. And so, no, as I sit here,
Wait, hold on. What part of that Hassan Ethan debate do you think Ethan Klein was disingenuous on? Don't say some parts. Say exactly what the fuck you're meaning. Say exactly what the fuck you're meaning. Which points? Give me the timestamp. I will go check it out myself, okay? Because there's absolutely no fucking shot. No fucking shot. It is anywhere significant, okay?
I'm not able to provide you specific moments in the past unrelated to this incident.
Give
that
me
show
it.
he's being disingenuous.
Give me the
I'm only talking
receipts.
about one thing.
Here's the thing, like you,
Please
I
go,
just wanna
please.
Say, you could be right about all of this.
Please go,
Yeah,
please.
Like
Please
I
go,
don't know
please.
Ethan
Please
basically
go.
at all, and
Please
so
go.
all the things that you're saying might be true. I'm offering an alternative perspective that there is a universe where he could care about both of these things at the same time. Where he's pissed at Denims for
go.
what she did about the CPS thing, and all these
Did you
other
say
creators
pissed?
for piling on after his family got called on CPS, and maybe that's the primary.
Bro, I was low-key memeing. I was low-key memeing when I was saying, yeah, I think that Pisco is trying to appeal to Hassan's crowd. I like I wasn't taking it that seriously, right? Maybe, but not that seriously, right? After this, oh no, man, looks kind of sussy. Bakana!
Thing
Okay.
that's driving this thing, but I don't think that necessarily means, and I don't know if this is what you're saying.
No,
but
no,
I don't
no,
think
I wouldn't
this
say yet.
This necessarily
There needs to be
means
more
that
confirmation.
he's not genuine in his hopes
Not
to
yet, dude.
sort of
Not
like
yet.
foster a better like cultural set of standards for
conclusions
React
yet, okay.
content. Like
This is what
they're
you
not
have to believe.
incompatible.
This is, and I'm trying to represent the position that you're saying is conceivable. That Ethan does condemn what XQC and Asmongold do. He thinks it is wrong, but he thinks that remedying what they do by either issuing a DMCA takedown or doing some kind of lawsuit against them, that would be really bad because it would impermissibly chill the fair use of the reaction community in a way that's different than what would be chilled for his lawsuit, and that the precedent produced by his lawsuit has a much higher chance of being more tailored and specific to malicious intent.
I saw some of your video. This anti-Destiny video is insane, and you were online. It's a bit of a tangent, but I had a question. Can you separate a country's economic model and their political system? What do you mean by that? That's a very vague thing. Like, what do you mean? Do you mean can you separate a country's economic model away from their political system, or do you mean like what do you mean by that?
Style infringement and not non-malicious intent style infringement, even though the vast majority of infringement doesn't have explicit malicious intent in it. And that,
or do you mean like they should be intrinsically tied?
Are more likely to or less likely to come and intervene in the reaction community if the standard of not having explicit malicious intent is enforced by him. That to me is such a preposterous set of beliefs that all of them, right? The notion that Sony and Disney would give a fuck whether the stated intention is to siphon or not siphon, as opposed to what they care about, which is their bottom line. The notion that that he thinks and would have a problem
Again.
with people DMCAing
Again.
clear blatant infringement
No, you're
or
good, you're
suing
good.
people for clear blatant infringement, when in the past he had said that you know, he's been a
You're fine.
supporter of this kind of very balanced approach. And then the notion that he thought about this all in advance and this was all part of his plan. I mean, all of that to me is so preposterous, and it's not plausible that this is what he's thinking.
You're suggesting that his original plan was that he was going to go after anybody who reacted to the content.
Economics is fake. I used to have that position in the past. Okay, I used to say like, oh, economics is just astrology for business majors. To some degree, I still like saying that because it's funny as fuck and it pisses off business majors. Okay, but no, I don't agree with that anymore. I think like, oh, you don't understand. Economics is just fake. It's astrology for business majors. Okay, just like how the red pill is just astrology for men, and how astrology is astrology for women. You know,
And in a sort of XQC manner, and that he changed his mind after the fact to go after. I thought that's what you were saying
The
before.
plausible scenario is he was setting a trap, not for anyone who infringes, but for his enemies who infringe.
For context, I studied computer science in college, graduated with a BS, and just like how a BS through my classes, and yeah, we hated business. We had a rivalry, okay, at our school. Business majors versus the computer science nerds, okay? We were like constantly competing against each other, all right? It was a thing.
Fringe. That's the plausible scenario that he didn't plan in advance.
But what's wrong with that though? Hold on, what's wrong with that?
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. Again,
Who got laid more? Definitely the business majors, okay?